Our mission tonight begins in London, where CEOP, the Child Exploitation and Online Protection Center, tracks child predators around the world. How great to see you. How great to be back at CEOP.
Well, it's a good time. We've got a job running at the minute, and I'm going to take you down and get you briefed up straight away.
Let's get busy.
Okay.
They're some of the best in law enforcement. I'm partnering up with them to hunt down the worst of the worst, creeps who hurt kids.
John, this is our covert command and control room, and we're running an operation from here at the moment in Southeast Asia called Relentless Pursuit. And we're concentrating on Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam. The suspect I'm going to brief you about is in Cambodia. He's someone that law enforcement has had an interest in for a number of years because of allegations around inappropriate behavior with children.
Now, you've had this guy in your sights. What does he do to have so much access to children?
Well, at the moment, he's running an orphanage in Siem Reap in Cambodia, so he has access to a large number of children in a very intimate, and controlled environment. This is a new orphanage that he's built 30 miles out of Siem Reap in a very isolated area. Now, look at that. What does it look like to you? Does it look like an orphanage?
He looks like a prison. I mean, he's a guy that doesn't want the scrutiny of anybody.
Well, that's right. You look at the walls, you consider that once he moves the children out there, perhaps 60 of them, no one will see what's going on. And what I really want is to get you on the ground with our team so that you can experience, see and feel, the vulnerability that young people in environments like this, live in.
I hate these guys the most, so let's saddle up.
Okay. We're heading into Phnom Penh now, which is the capital city here. And I have to say, people that travel to this country give tourists a bad name when they come here. People who simply want to go somewhere to sexually exploit a child under circumstances where they, the adult, have the upper hand and are confident that they'll get away with it.
Why Cambodia? What are the elements here that make it so desirable for the real creepy predators?
You're going to see children. And there's not a child that you will see that we wouldn't be able to buy.
People are poor here. They believe the government's corrupt. They believe they'll never be held accountable for it, that they can get away with it, basically.
That's what they believe. The good news is I believe that's changing. I believe that the modern Cambodian National Police is moving to a different place, and under the leadership of General Net Severn, they are really beginning to take this seriously. John, I'm going to take you to somewhere really special now, a place that will put everything that we're going to see in absolute context. We'll tell you the story of Cambodia. Well, John, these are the famous killing fields, and this is where many thousands were killed. You're talking absolute mass murder, and you're talking about murder after sustained violence and torture.
It's a humbling sight, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Here, that sense of history just wraps around you, and you're so close to the brutal past of that. I think that the lessons are all the more poignant.
You can almost envision bodies piled right in here.
Yeah.
As they're bringing other people out to kill them.
When you go about Phnom Penh, when you go around this country, you see very few people with grey hair.
Yes.
That generation is gone.
Is what was wiped out.
Wiped out.
Was wiped out. And just as vulnerable as that generation was to Pol Pot, the country's still very vulnerable, as you and I see, because of the poverty. The children here are still very vulnerable.
Well, the social and economic deprivation here, makes them vulnerable. Show me one here that you couldn't buy.
Look at these kids are coming right up to us here.
Well, these kids are street smart.
Yeah.
These kids are full of personality, and they're out working. That's what they're doing.
But the thing that you keep impressing on me is there's no adult watching these kids.
No, there isn't.
They could wander around here for 3 or 4 hours, and anybody could grab that little girl in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And who would look for them?
Well, I don't even know you need to grab her. I think you could pay for her and take her back. It's part of the bigger problem.
It's almost hard to comprehend how easy it would be. With so many vulnerable children all over the country, protecting them all seems nearly impossible. The Cambodian National Police are doing their part, busting foreigners who prey upon these kids when they find out about it. Most of the cases are made by private groups called non-governmental organizations, or NGOs. They become the first line of defense when it comes to safeguarding the children. Jim told me about one NGO, Apple, which aggressively investigates Westerners who engage in suspicious behavior with Cambodian children, covertly videotaping their targets. The evidence they gather is graphic and depressing. And I was about to see it for myself because we were planning our own undercover operation.
To me, this is a very young-looking girl. Looks like she's about 15.
A manhunt is underway tonight for accused child predator Dr. Emilio Luna. FBI agents in Phoenix say this pediatrician went on the run after being charged with sharing thousands of child porn images online. Luna speaks fluent Spanish and may have fled to his native Mexico. Call if you know where he's hiding.
Oh, you go to our hotel?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? How much?
Thursday for short time.
For short time?
50 all night.
All night?
Yeah.
Wow.
All night.
The tough thing, I think, for all of us, if we see a young girl, it's human nature to say, boy, I'd like to get her out of this life. I'd like to save her. But you can't do that, can you?
No. Some of the girls will say they're slightly older than they are. So
Right.
we'll go in, we'll get the feel, get a sense of it, and then we will come back out again.
Gotcha.
It's amazing how many girls work in this business. I'm sure they would say, if you said I'm looking for a 15-year-old girl, they'd say I'm 15. Really know the game well. To me, this is a very young-looking girl. Looks like she's about 15. I'm sure they're just woven right in.
You could see, I think, when you were in there up close, that they actually started moving down the age range.
Absolutely. It was sad, and when they thought maybe we were going to leave and they couldn't close the sale, they come up with a real young, naive girl. She had to be 14 or possibly younger.
Many of the men in there tonight will simply be sex tourists,
Right,
regardless of age.
right.
But some of them in there undoubtedly are predatory pedophiles who find this, still a useful hunting ground.
They came halfway around the world because they think they're going to get away with it.
That's exactly the key. It's thinking I won't get caught. It's thinking there will be no consequence.
They think they can come here and get away with it.
That's the truth.
What I saw in that bar really drove home how tough our fight is. And while I continue my mission here in Cambodia, you can do your part by helping hunt down some child predators in tonight's All Points Bulletin.
Well, it was a Sunday afternoon, and I was at a cash register, and I turned around and I looked, and I couldn't believe what I seen on the computer screen.
Sid Ullman, and he was convicted for his sick behavior. Unfortunately, his story doesn't end there. After serving 4 months, Ullman was released from jail.
Be more young victims out there.
But tonight, Ullman may be in Southeast Asia, possibly Thailand. He fancies himself as an author and wrote an autobiography he called The Stone Man. He claims to have worked in the trucking industry and to have several patents for cars and trucks. We need to shut him down. So if you know where Lauren Ullman's hiding, you need to call our hotline tonight.
So I meet the guy procure a number of times to my bedroom away from other kids.
When Sacramento, California cops sat down with a school teacher named Yuri Taylor, They couldn't believe what they were hearing. They thought Taylor was going to confess that he molested a little girl. Instead, he was insisting that what he did was perfectly okay.
First of all, no physical contact was ever made.
But cops knew otherwise. They'd heard a very different story from the victim.
She was a student in his second grade class. Her family liked his family because they spoke Russian, and that's how they befriended each other, which allowed the sleepovers at his house.
That's when he used his position of trust to molest her.
Unbelievably, in his police interview, Taylor insisted everything that happened was the fault of the 9-year-old victim.
She started asking me about questions of sexual nature.
He claimed he was trying to help the child get answers by hypnotizing her.
He
tried Crime TV.
Look at me. I'm skin and bone, and it's disgusting. I'll probably die here.
I'm going to spend at least 10 years here, probably 20.
U.S. Marshals need you to keep an eye out for a convicted sex offender from Arizona. After posting bond and fleeing, Stephen Dyer was found guilty in absentia on a dozen charges that he molested a young boy. He faces hundreds of years behind bars. Dyer has family in Sacramento, California. Call if you know where he's hiding. Attitudes are changing. I've seen in the papers 4 pedophiles, Japanese, British, American, arrested in the last 3 days in Phnom Penh, in Cambodia. People are changing their attitudes about it.
We've got a prisoner in here at the minute who's on remand waiting to go to trial. He's a suspected UK sex offender, so we'll not name him for now until the conviction date, but he's been here for some time now.
Normally, I'd rip into an accused sex offender when given the chance. How long have you been here?
4 months.
But out of respect for CEOP and the Cambodian officials who allowed me access in the prison, I had to keep my anger bottled up and remain civil with this guy. What were you doing in Cambodia? Visiting? Do you work here?
I worked here.
You worked here. And you just got arrested. You're wasting away.
Absolutely. Look at me. I'm skin and bone, and it's disgusting. I'll probably die here, no problem. You know, these people are afraid to talk.
I've never been in a prison that's this quiet because they're fearful.
It's fear.
It's fear.
It's absolute fear.
See with all the food around there, do you get rats in there?
We had 3 dead rats here last night. Every night they're running around, coming out the toilets.
I had to bite my tongue as I listened to him complain. As far as I'm concerned, he put himself here.
John, if you are a paedophile and you're captured in this country, these are the conditions that you're going to be held in. This cell is not unlike the cells you're going to see throughout the prison here. You got, anywhere between 18 and 25 people in the cell.
In one cell?
In one cell, 18 to 25 people living in a communal cell. And in fact, what we've got here probably is one of the better cells because there's some natural light coming in.
That guy looks like a Westerner in there.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you?
Oh, you're a British guy, huh?
You are correct.
What are you doing in here?
What am I doing in here?
Yeah.
I'm in prison.
And what were you arrested for?
I don't want to go into all that. It's too dark.
Yeah? Sex tourism? No?
It's too dark.
But according to police, that's a lie. He's accused of having sex with 3 young girls, something he wouldn't come clean about. How the hell do you wind up in a Cambodian jail?
You can be lucky in life and you can be unlucky. It happens. You know?
Happens. That's the
if you're in the
saying.
wrong place at the wrong time.
That's the perfect saying for this.
You can have
Well, you're going to be doing... This is hard time, isn't it?
Yeah.
At least he was truthful about life behind bars. And I want everyone to see the misery he's brought on himself. A lesson for would-be predators who come here. What's it like to be in this cell with 18 or 19 guys?
This is the best in the prison, probably. Here with only 18 or 19 is a place that people aspire to reach.
You're in a hell here. You're in a living hell, so to speak.
No, this is only purgatory. Hell is over there. Hell is on the blocks.
Where there are no lights and there is no ventilation.
No blocks, no fans, no ventilation, but effectively, you know, men sleep with other men, you know, around them, on top of them, legs and arms on top of each other. They're unable to move, to turn over without disturbing somebody.
Crammed like sardines.
Absolutely, yeah. By our standards, this is luxury. People pay to come here.
When's your court date?
Pardon?
When's your court date?
I have no idea. Probably about a year and a half from now.
You're going to spend a year in a cell like this waiting just to go to court?
I'm going to spend at least 10 years here, probably 20. It's not an easy life here, and people who have been sentenced here and know their fate question every day whether or not to go on. People do attempt suicide here. Many people starve themselves. I don't think people here dare to hope too much.
I think that the real message that you and I saw today is if you think you can come to Cambodia and beat any type of legal system, is now a person of interest in her murder. Cops say this video shows him buying ammunition at a Las Vegas Walmart. He could be traveling in this silver 2001 Kia Spectra. Call if you've seen him. Jim, in London, you told me about a guy that you've got in your sights that you'd really like to see in a prison just like the one we came from.
This is the guy here that we're looking for at the minute. We believe he is a serious pedophile. Now, this guy began to engage in the non-profit business and then moved into the north of the country.
Jim explained that donors poured thousands into Nicholas Griffin's charity with no clue that by funding and supporting this accused child predator, it gave him direct access and control over the most vulnerable of Cambodian children.
We've got between 30 to 100 kids every day attending this orphanage that he controls.
While Jim and I continued our work in Phnom Penh, another team from CEOP headed out to take down Griffin.
We're currently deployed to Siem Reap. One of the dangers we've got in this situation is that we've got one chance at this. If we get this wrong, then potentially that person could be in an even stronger position than he is at the moment. So we've got to be 100% sure that what we do is going to have a long and lasting effect, and he will be removed from that position of trust that he's in at the moment.
But CEOP wasn't in control of their own destiny or of Griffin's. They had to follow the lead of the Cambodian police and a local prosecutor to make an arrest. And there was no certainty that would even happen.
It can be quite frustrating, and the fact that we're based several thousand miles away makes it very difficult to actually pursue it and safeguard the children under his care.
Playing the waiting game was even harder, knowing those kids were at risk of abuse every minute Griffin remained on the street. Even though CEOP couldn't grab Griffin themselves, it didn't mean they couldn't do their own surveillance of his operation.
Where are we going?
New Land. It's probably the best part of 45 minutes outside of Siem Reap. We've heard a lot about it from thousands and thousands of miles away, but to actually come and see it as it is, it brings it all into context, basically. So it's not the sort of road you'd go down unless you really needed to, basically. Over there, is it?
Yeah.
Crikey. Unbelievable place to have an orphanage or a school, isn't it? It's quite powerful when you actually drive up here and you look at it. That doesn't actually look like an orphanage, it looks more like a prison.
There's people in there. There's kids.
A lot of children in there.
Yeah, still children in there. It's clearly still under construction. Once it's got established, more and more children would come here. It's probably best that we caught it at this stage of construction. Three separate offences.
But the clock was ticking. Investigators could only hold Griffin for 48 hours. Then they'd either have to charge him or let him go. Police would have to move quickly. To make their case, they needed to find the children willing to talk about the alleged abuse. Detectives used every bit of that time and finally got what they needed. They charged Griffin with an indecent act against a minor. He was also charged with child sex offenses in a case from 2008. I really hope the Cambodian justice system can keep this accused child predator off the streets for good. Jim, congratulations on a great capture. I know how long and hard you worked on this guy. It's just the worst of the worst. It's a guy who preyed upon the most vulnerable, kids in an orphanage.
Well, look, this is the best result we could have hoped for, and it sends a strong message. If you travel anywhere in the world to harm vulnerable children, we will track you down and we will hold you to account. You can count on that.
I know you're going to continue to the day you drop. God bless you, your whole team at CEOP, and keep up the good work.
All right, John, thanks very much. Thank you.
I'm sleeping a lot easier tonight knowing Griffin is off the streets in Cambodia. But now I need your help back home, tracking down a monster who's been haunting a man and his family for years. Nothing's more important to Jeremiah McCrimmon than his family. And as he raises his kids in El Paso, Texas, he knows better than most parents how much he needs to protect them. Because he doesn't want what happened to him to happen to them. Jeremiah grew up in a tough neighborhood on the northeast side of his hometown. By 15, he was working 3 jobs to help his mom out.
We're a very poor family, so I tried to work a few jobs to get money for the house. I was working selling newspapers at the time.
In July 1995, Jeremiah got what he hoped would be a big break.
A man approached me. He gave me a business card, and he told me he'd like me to work for him.
The man, Arturo Blanco, told Jeremiah he had a successful music business and needed help to run it. They arranged to meet at a convenience store and then go to Blanco's house.
Everything seemed normal, and nothing out of ordinary.
But after a few hours working in the office, Blanco made an odd request.
He told me to go back to his room. It was a little weird, but I didn't think anything of it. I was like, this is where his business is at. I kind of trusted him too much already.
In the blink of an eye, what Jeremiah thought was a dream job,
it turned out to be my worst nightmare. And that's where he, forced himself on me. At the moment, I really wanted to, just bash his head with something. I kept on trying to tell him no. I was scared.
The assault didn't last long, but even after it ended, Jeremiah says Blanco wasn't done terrorizing him.
And we got in his car, and he took me a block away to a bus stop. He's like, don't tell nobody. I could pay you for sex, and that's how you'll make your money with me.
Jeremiah was brave enough to tell his mother what happened, and Blanco was arrested. But before he could be put on trial, he fled. Jeremiah refused to be a victim. He vowed to do whatever it took to see this accused pedophile face justice.
I just wanted to speak out because, he could be doing this to somebody else right now where we speak, so we don't know where he's at. We don't know who he's harming.
For 15 years, he called, wrote, and emailed government officials and dozens of media outlets, hoping someone would help tell his story and help him get Blanco off the street. And finally, someone heard his plea.
You could run, but you can't hide. He will get caught.
Jesse Tovar is an El Paso County Sheriff's deputy who recently started something he calls Manhunt Mondays. Just like we do on America's Most Wanted, he profiles the worst of the worst in the local media in El Paso.
We've captured 59 out of 101 fugitives profiled. That's a pretty good ratio. It's 60%.
When Jesse heard Jeremiah...
Age, height, weight, anything like that? Okay, he was bald, and did you happen to notice his eye color?
And we're going to do everything we can to take down the man who took Jeremiah McCrimmon's freedom and to ease Jeremiah's fears for his own children.
I think it affects my kids because I have them sheltered, you know. So I'm always like, I don't trust anything, so I just think they suffer a lot from it, you know.
Cops say that wherever Blanco is, he's most likely victimizing more innocent children. In addition to the assault on Jeremiah, he's been indicted in another child sex abuse case, and he's also wanted on gun and drug charges. Blanco might still be in the music business and could have fled to Mexico, but he might still be in the El Paso area where he has family, or in Minnesota. If you can help us track him down, make that call. 1-800-CRIME-TV. You have touched my heart. You have touched my heart. One of the best days I've spent in my life. Tonight in Soldotna, Alaska, the search is on for Kevin Patterson. He's wanted for collecting child pornography. Patterson might be working as a professional photographer in Costa Rica or Mexico. If you've seen this accused child predator, call our hotline tonight. To meet a Cambodian woman who's made it her personal mission to change the lives of children who were victims of sexual abuse.
I'm Somali mom. I'm a survivor of sex trafficking, of sex slave.
Somali's story can be traced back to her tough upbringing. She grew up an orphan, and by age 12, she was sold into the brothels, where pimps and johns made her life a living hell.
All time in the brothel like me, who have 20 or 30 clients a day, maybe 8 years, maybe 7 years. But my body destroyed, my hand, my brain. Sometimes I don't want to try to remember all these things because it's horrible.
She carries emotional scars that will always haunt her.
When I close my eye, I know exactly what time the client come in the brothel. And I know exactly what time the pimp punish us. You know what time they punish us? 3 o'clock in the morning, when the client leave.
The murder of Somali's closest friend at the hands of a pimp changed her life forever.
They asked us all to come to sit together, and he told us that our life, we have to accept what he asked us to do. She don't want to listen to him, so he take a gun and he come near her and kill her. I'm sitting here, and so he killed. So all the brain come to me, all the blood they come to me. And later night, I just escaped from the brothel. That is the day that I escaped.
Since that day, Somali has turned her personal tragedy into a triumph for kids all over Cambodia. Between the Somali Mom Foundation and AFOSIP, the organization she started in 1996, Somali is saving girls from the life she once lived. She's giving them a place to grow and blossom. Somali has built 3 rescue centers in Cambodia that currently house 200 girls.
Here, it's like 92% or 90% of them have been sex abuse and sex slavery. Some of girls have been raped by the family. The age is between 3 years old up to 16. They call me mommy. They have no mother, they have no family, just me. So I had to be with them. We care them, and we provide them school, training, everything. We provide them like psychology, counseling. Each girl in the center, in each center, 6,000 girls that have been saved. I know all the story one by one.
When I arrived at Somali's rescue center, her girls gave me the warmest of welcomes.
Hi there. How are you? So nice to meet you. So nice to meet you.
Hi.
Finally.
I'm Somali. Nice to meet you.
It's an honor to meet you.
Thank you.
It's an honor. And these are all your kids.
Yes,
all
that are my kids.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Yeah, she
Who know
just
the
said,
name?
hello, John.
Squash Moda.
So you're 20 years old.
Some of the girls told me their heartbreaking stories, but the one about Somali's own daughter hit the closest to home.
My daughter, she had been kidnapping too. At 4 days, we found her in the Thai border. They tried to sell her to Thailand.
Into Thailand.
Yeah.
My little boy was kidnapped and murdered, not for sex trade, but by a pervert, when he was 6. And I know what it's like to look for a missing child. It's a nightmare. So here it must be so hard.
Yeah.
Are the police getting better helping you?
Yes, of course.
They
yes.
are.
Yes.
You know why? Because you're educating them. So they're getting better, aren't they? Because
They
a lot
really
of because
better.
of you. I mean, by saying, who could hurt these
Thank you.
beautiful girls? Who could hurt them?
If you hear the story, it's like,
Breaks your heart.
yeah, it's break my heart. John, that is Somana. She just come just this week that she arrived in Cambodia.
How nice to meet
She was
you.
with me in New York, United States, to operate her eyes.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, she had been sold, and the brothel order put the knife in her eyes, so she lose her eyes.
And did they catch who did that to her? Would the police go and get that man?
No,
Is that in Phnom Penh?
in Phnom Penh.
In Phnom Penh. So they go and give other girls hope, and they say
Yes.
there is a way to get out of this life.
Yes.
What a good place for these kids to land, huh? From a
Okay,
nightmare to this little place.
Somali's girls performed a special dance to honor my visit, but I was honored just being in their presence.
How beautiful. So graceful. I love meeting you. I know you've been through a lot. You've been through a lot, but you're in a good place. You have touched my heart. You have touched my heart. One of the best days I've spent in my life. In my life.
Thank you, con.
Thank you. Oh, gosh. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, love. Bye-bye. I need a big hug.
Look at my Thank you, John.
It's an honor to meet you. Bye-bye, girls. God bless you. I know you saw some stuff tonight that was hard to watch. It was unbearable for me to witness it firsthand. But the worldwide problem of sexual predators can't be ignored. It's got to be addressed. That's why I come to places like Cambodia to team up with you to do something about it. I will never forget the trip to Somali moms. It'll be etched in my memory forever. I was so sad when I heard the stories about those kids, but I left there with a lot of hope. And I want to give a special thanks to the Cambodian National Police and Commissioner General Net Severn. They're really stepping up their work to catch sexual predators that hurt Cambodian children. And of course, a very special thanks to my friend Jim Gamble and all of his team at CEOP. They're one of the world's premier child protection agencies. They partner up with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children to make the world safer for children. We got to keep supporting them. Next week in our hunt for sexual predators, we're going to a country with possibly the world's worst human trafficking problem. Now, you won't believe where it is or how bad it's gotten. Until then, please, stay safe, stay strong, and wherever